This passenger thought they were just being helpful by switching to an empty seat. They ended up on the no-fly list. This traveler brought their own wine on board the plane to celebrate an anniversary. They were met by federal agents once they landed, and this frequent flyer took a photo of a rude flight attendant to show on her social media. All of these passengers are now banned from that airline for life. What do all these stories have in common? These passengers had no idea that they were breaking serious flight rules that airlines don't advertise, but absolutely enforce. I'm your channel host, Cheryl. Welcome to True Travel Treasures. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtains on the hidden flight rules that flight attendants wish passengers knew automatically. Because breaking those rules could turn your dream trip into a legal nightmare. We have a lot to unpack today, so let's get started. Here's the thing. Airlines don't tell you these rules up front. Want to know why? Well, their contracts of carriage are longer than most novels you are too busy to read. Delta's contracts of carriage, for example, is 147 pages long. United's is 184 pages. And buried in those pages are rules that can get you banned, arrested, or even worse. But here's why they don't advertise these rules. Because if passengers really knew all the things that they couldn't do, many people would be too scared to fly. So instead, they rely on flight attendants to enforce the rules that passengers never knew existed. Sounds unfair. It is what it is. I spoke with current and former flight attendants, and they all said the same thing. We wish passengers knew these rules before they got on the plane, because by then, it's too late to warn them. So today, I'm going to be that warning. How about that? These aren't suggestions. These are federal regulations that you need to adhere and airline policies that can ruin your trip and your travel future. Let's get started with the rule that gets more people in trouble than almost any other rule: photography restrictions. You cannot take photos or videos of crew members without their explicit permission. Period. Yes. Most airlines have policies that specifically prohibit photographing or recording crew members. But here's where it gets tricky. This same rule also applies to other passengers if they're identifiable in your shot. Think about how many times you've taken a selfie on the plane with crew or passengers in the background. I've done that before. Technically, you could be violating airline policy every time you do this, and especially if you post it on social media without their knowledge. And then they find out later, that's a whole nother story. I'm talking about both the crew or the passenger caught in your shot on social media. But here's the rule that shocks most people. Even if you delete the photo, if a crew member saw you take it, you can still face consequences. I know someone who was banned from American Airlines for taking a photo of a flight attendant who was being rude to elderly passengers. The flight attendant claimed harassment and invasion of privacy. Can you imagine? The passenger thought that they were documenting bad service. American Airlines, guess what they did? They sided with their employee, of course. Here's a pro tip. Take safe photography, which could include your own seat area, the window view, your food, yourself with no one else visible. Unsafe photography would be crew members, other passengers, cockpit area, anything that could be considered a violation or an operational issue. Always ask before taking any photos that include people, period, whether you're on a plane or not. Mind if I get a quick selfie? Ask. That goes a long way toward avoiding trouble. Rule number 2 is one that trips up even experienced travelers. You cannot drink your own alcohol on the plane. Not duty-free purchases, not mini bottles, not wine from your layover dinner, nothing. This is Federal Aviation Regulation 121.575 or .575. It quotes, no person may drink any alcoholic beverage aboard an aircraft unless the certificate holder operating the aircraft has served that beverage. Let that sink in. Excuse me. I watched a couple get escorted off a flight in Denver because they opened a bottle of champagne that they bought in the terminal to celebrate their anniversary. They had no idea, no clue that it was illegal. But here's where this rule gets really sneaky. It also applies to connecting flights. Let's say you buy alcohol in one airport and board a connecting flight. You cannot drink it on that second flight either. The only exception, if you're flying internationally and the airline serves you alcohol that you purchased duty-free and they open it for you. But even then, some airlines prohibit this. And even that does not even make no darn sense to me, if you ask me. Anyways, this includes medications with alcohol content if you have prescription cough medicine or liquid medication with alcohol. You should inform the crew before you take it. They need to know for safety reasons and for legal reasons as well. The consequences? I've seen passengers face federal charges for this. The FBI considers unauthorized alcohol consumption on aircraft a federal crime. Yeah? So don't risk it. Rule number 3 is the big one that gets people in trouble every single flight. Switching to empty seats without permission. Even if the seat appears empty, even if it's in the same class of service, you cannot just move. I don't know what that was. Excuse me. Here's why. Airlines track passenger weight distribution for safety. They know exactly wherever passenger is supposed to be sitting for balance calculations. When you move, you are potentially affecting the aircraft's center of gravity. Did you know that? Yes? Well, here's the part that really gets people banned. Those empty premium seats, they're often being held for late passengers, crew rest, or operational needs. When you sit in them, you're potentially taking a seat that someone paid hundreds or even thousands of dollars for. I watched a passenger get permanently banned from Southwest Airlines because they moved to an exit row seat after takeoff. They thought that it was no big deal because the plane wasn't full, but exit row seats require specific safety briefings and passenger qualifications. When a flight attendant asks you to return to your seat, your assigned seat, that's not a request. It's a federal safety instruction that you should follow. If you refuse, it can result in flight being diverted and you facing criminal charges. Believe it or not. Here's the right way to do it. Ask the flight attendant first before moving anywhere on the plane. They can tell you if it's safe or if it's allowed. Most of the time, they'll say yes if the seat is truly available. So just ask. Rule number 4 is more personal. Everyone knows that about airplane mode, right? Wrong. There are electronic device rules that go way beyond just turning on airplane mode. And breaking them can get you in serious trouble, believe it or not. First, Bluetooth devices. Even in airplane mode, some Bluetooth devices continue to transmit. Flight attendants can ask you to completely turn off Bluetooth devices during critical phases of flight. Second, that laptop with Wi-Fi turned on, even if you're not actively using the internet, background applications might still be trying to connect. Did you know that flight attendants actually have devices that can detect radio emissions from passenger electronics? Yes, they do. Third, power banks and charging cables. There are specific wattage limits and battery capacity restrictions. Exceeding these limits isn't just against airline policy. It's a federal safety violation. Airlines are cracking down on this even more than ever before. And here's a side note and warning. Make sure you do not put a power bank in your checked luggage. It is supposed to be in your carry-on. And I would suggest that you place it in a personal item bag and keep it with you under the seat and not in the overhead bin, just for precautionary measures. I know a business traveler who was banned from United Airlines because their laptop was emitting Wi-Fi signals during takeoff. They swore they had airplane mode on, but a background application was still trying to connect. And medical devices? These have special rules. Pacemakers, insulin pumps, CPAP machines. You need to inform crew members about these devices before takeoff. Not telling them can result in medical emergencies and legal issues. Here's the bottom line. When they say turn off electronic devices, they mean completely off. Not sleep mode, not airplane mode, just off. And you need to listen to them because they know best. Remember, they're trained for this, but you aren't. Rule number 5. Do you think you can use the bathroom whenever you want on the plane? Think again. There are specific bathroom rules that can get you in legal trouble, believe it or not. And most passengers have no idea that they exist. I mean the rules. First, you cannot use the bathroom during taxi, takeoff, or landing of the plane. This seems obvious, but here's what's not obvious. Taxiing can last 30 minutes or more, and some passengers think it only applies to the actual plane takeoff. But no, it doesn't. Secondly, when the seatbelt sign is on for turbulence, bathroom use is prohibited, period. Flight attendants have been seriously injured helping passengers who ignore this rule. And thirdly, there's a class of service bathroom restriction. That's a rule. What does this mean? It means that economy passengers cannot use first-class bathrooms. This isn't just airline policy, it's often written in airport security protocols. I watched a passenger get arrested in Miami because they used the first-class bathroom on a transcontinental flight. The flight attendant warned them twice. They ignored the warning, and the captain hadn't had them met by police. I hope you're getting value from this video so far. I haven't even scratched the surface yet, because I cannot give you everything here on this channel. Nope. So what I did was I put together a really underground ebook bundle. Travel secrets you should know beyond the boarding gate. It is jam-packed with everything from booking to your destination arrival and everything in between. You don't want to travel without this bundle. Grab it from the link in the description. You'll thank me later. Now let's continue. Here's the rule that really surprises people. Loitering near bathrooms or in aisles can be considered suspicious behavior. Post 9/11 regulations require flight attendants to monitor and report passengers who spend too much time in the non-seat areas. If you have a medical condition requiring frequent bathroom access, it's best to inform the crew during boarding. They can work with you on accommodations that keep you safe and legal. Rule number 6. This might surprise you, and this is where passengers get into federal trouble. Misrepresenting pets as service animals. The rules changed dramatically in recent years, and lying about your pet's status is now a federal crime. As of 2021, airlines only recognize trained service dogs. Emotional support animals, therapy animals, comfort animals, none of these have federal flying rights anymore. Sorry. Well, here's where people get arrested. Buying fake service animal documentation online. Yes, that's a thing. These websites sell certifications and vests that have no legal validity. Using them is fraudulent. I know someone who faces federal charges because they bought a fake service dog vest online for their pet. The gate agent questioned the animal's behavior, investigated, and discovered the fraudulent documentation. You don't want to get in trouble for this. Real service dogs must be trained to perform specific work or task related to a disability. They must be under control at all times and cannot be disruptive to other passengers. If you want to travel with your pet, use the airline's legitimate pet program. Pay the fees, use proper carriers, follow the rules. It's legal and stress-free. The penalty for service animal fraud? Up to $75,000 in fines and potential jail time. It's that serious. Is it worth risking your freedom to avoid a $125 pet fee? International travelers, this one's for you. And it's rule number 7. Customs declaration mistakes that seem innocent can land you in federal prison. And it starts before you even land. First mistake, not declaring duty-free purchases from connecting flights. If you bought alcohol or perfume in London and you're connecting through the US to Canada, you still need to declare those items. Second mistake, currency declaration limits. It's not just about the $10,000 limit everyone knows about. It's about the definition of currency. Prepaid cards, traveler's checks, money orders. These all count toward your limit. Did you know that? The third mistake, prescription medications. If you're carrying more than a 90-day supply or medications not in the original packaging, you need additional documentation, even from your doctor or pharmacy. Otherwise, you could be faced with drug trafficking charges. I know a business traveler who spent 3 days in federal detention because they had a 6-month supply of prescription medication without proper documentation. The customs officer thought that they were trafficking drugs and food items. Yes, that apple from your airline meal can result in thousands of dollars in fines if you accidentally carry it through customs. Agricultural violations are treated very seriously. Something happened to me years ago, but I only paid $50. That's another story for another video. The solution, when in doubt, declare it. Customs officers appreciate honesty and will often waive fees for honest mistakes. But lie to them or hide something and you're facing federal charges. Rule number 8 is about social media. It has created a new category of flight violations that didn't exist 10 years ago. Recording arguments, live streaming flights, posting crew members' interactions, all of these can get you banned or arrested. Yet, passengers do this all the time. Most airlines now have specific social media policies that prohibit passengers from recording crew members' interactions without their permission. This includes audio recording, not just video. Let that sink in. But here's where it gets legally dangerous. If you record a crew member dealing with an unruly passenger, you might be interfering with the crew member's duties, which is a federal crime. I've seen passengers get banned from airlines because they live streamed a flight delay. And in the background, you could see crew members dealing with a medical emergency. The airline considered that an invasion of privacy. And using airline Wi-Fi for inappropriate content, the terms of service give airlines broad authority to monitor your internet usage. Violate their content policies, and you could face immediate consequences. Safe social media, your own experience. General flight updates, scenic views from the window. Unsafe, other passengers, crew members, operational issues, anything that could compromise safety or privacy. Let me be clear about what happens when you break these rules. It's not just a slap on the wrist. Airlines maintain their own internal banned passenger list, separate from the federal no-fly list. And here are the most serious ones. I'm going to go through them one by one. Photography violations, which includes airline bans, harassment charges. Then there's alcohol violations. This will federal charges up to $25,000 fines for that one. Seat violations, flight diversions, permanent airline bans, device violations, FAA fines up to $400,000, bathroom violations, safety violations, potential arrest, service animal fraud, $75,000 in fines, customs violations, you could go to federal prison, asset forfeiture, recording violations, privacy lawsuits, airline bans. These aren't theoretical consequences. These are real penalties that real passengers face every single day. And once you're banned from one airline, other airlines often share that information. As one flight attendant told me, we don't want to enforce these rules. We really don't. We'd rather everyone have a pleasant flight. But passenger safety and federal regulations don't give us a choice. Here's your action plan as we wind down, so that you can avoid these costly mistakes and legal mistakes. Before you fly, read your airline's contract of carriage, at least the prohibited item section. Research customs requirements for your destination. Understand your aircraft-specific electronic device policies. If traveling with animals or medical devices, call the airline in advance or let them know when you're boarding the plane. During your flight, ask before photographing anything that includes other people. Follow crew instructions immediately and completely. Stay in your assigned seat unless given permission to move. Keep all electronic devices properly configured. Respect bathroom and service area boundaries. The key is communication. Flight attendants are there to help. That's what they're there for. They want you to follow the rules and they will help you to do so, not to trick you into breaking them. When in doubt, ask. Look, I'm not trying to scare you away from flying. Absolutely not. Air travel is still the safest way to travel long distance, believe it or not. But knowledge is power. And knowing these rules can save you from embarrassment, expense, cost, additional cost, and potential criminal mistakes. I want to hear from you. Have you witnessed any of these rule violations? Have you done any of them? Have you ever accidentally broken one of these rules? Share your stories in the comment section below. Let's learn from each other's experiences and mistakes. And if this video potentially saved you from a costly mistake, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I create content like this every single day to help you travel smarter and avoid expensive travel mistakes. That's what I'm here for. In a few days, I'm going to reveal the airport security secrets that TSA agents wish passengers knew, including the items that you can actually bring to airport security that most people think are prohibited. Yeah? Remember, the best travel experiences come from being prepared. and informed. Follow the rules, respect the crew, and you'll have smooth flights and happy travels and a good vacation. And please remember to pick up the ebook bundle, Travel Secrets You Should Know Beyond the Boarding Gates. Listen, it will definitely provide you with enough insight for a seamless travel experience. Believe me, you won't regret buying it. And please check out my other travel bundles from the links in the description and the YouTube shopping area below with airline approved carry-on luggages, travel essentials, and so much more that you need for your travels. Any purchase that you make will help to support the channel. Thanks in advance for doing so. Safe travels, and I will see you in the next video. And I hope you learned something from this. Thanks again.